Shut up.
Okay, stop.
All right, good morning.
Good morning.
All right, so this is going to be an exciting meeting. Hopefully there'll be no boxing gloves. Great. So I wanted to throw a couple things out at you guys because there's some things that are happening that are kind of making things difficult for dispatch to start out with. You guys are not supposed to use the 458-6600 number. Okay, that number is for our clients. We pay for that, especially if they're on the phone on one call, and then you guys call that number and it goes to the answering service. We pay for all of those calls. We have to pay for them to answer the phone, go through that whole message thing, and then we have to call it back, and we're dealing with you guys as well. So please don't call the 458-6600 number. If you can't get a hold of a dispatch or someone you need, give it a minute or call me. I don't have a problem if you call me. I'm in the office. I can do pretty much anything they can do on here. So call me before you guys freak out. You know, it's like what we're having is, you know, you call him and he's not able to answer the phone. It goes to the answering service, and then you got to call somebody else anyway. So just, you know, don't just bypass that number, please. Okay, it's costing us money. So if you need something like right now, you got to get a purchase order. You guys should be able to put your own purchase orders in. Everyone knows how to do a purchase order by themselves now. Is anybody not? Okay, Ryan, you need to go through training today because not just for that, but for training in general, because when I'm going into your job, you collected those checks, those 3 checks the other day. No tasks, nothing, just we had to sit there for 15 minutes and fix your ticket to close it out to even be able to have the payment, you know what I mean? So I want to make sure you go through that training because I know you were kind of like working with people for a while and you weren't really doing it yourself. This will kind of help you get through things properly. If you didn't, anybody who wasn't here for Wednesday's meeting, please look at that video because I'm trying to show you how to do these estimates a little bit better, to embellish, to be able to show value in your call. That's what that one was about. We'll talk a little bit about that again today because I'm going to show you on the screen here a couple of examples. Some of these were actually done prior to that meeting. But so for an example, I'm going to go on to just a random call. It doesn't matter. I'm not sure what this one is. Okay, we have an estimate here, best option. Okay, so what is this here? This is Sarah's job. It's not, I'm not picking on Sarah, but here's a task. Here we go. This is my prime example. Miscellaneous level 4 repair, $4,235. Where's the value in that?
Right.
0. Water line reroute using PEX pipe, $1,600. Not much value in that either. Okay? Those tasks, when they come up, all of those can be edited when you guys go in there. You can add and embellish all the things like we talked about the toilet. Okay? It's not just pull and reset a toilet for $300. $300 is a small amount compared to $4,200 and $1,600, but we have to show the value when we're typing up an estimate. And showing the value, the way to do that is to make it sound like you're doing a lot of stuff, because you are. If you're taking something apart, and then you got to remove this, and you got to inspect that, and you got to put this back, and you know all the things you have to do to get there, just like we said on the toilet. And I had it listed on here, and I did erase it, but it's basically you got to not only do you have to pull the toilet, right? You also have to drain. I mean, you have to vacuum out the back of the tank and everything else, and you're going to check for leaks. You're going to check the flapper. You're going to check the fill valve. You're going to put new bolts on. You're going to put a new wax ring on. You're going to caulk around it. All the things we talked about on Wednesday. So if you don't have that listed in your task, it doesn't show the value. And as a customer, they want to see value. Most of them do. So it doesn't matter if it's HVAC, it doesn't matter if it's plumbing, we want to show the value to the customer. So I'm just kind of reiterating that again, because as we go forward, all the estimates, and I saw another estimate, I didn't really look at it on here. I saw that there was another estimate, or maybe it was the same one, I don't know. Let's see, there was, is that the same? That's the one that's sold, yeah, okay, that's the same one. So now, under summary, it has more information, but it still doesn't have as much as it probably could, okay? Because I'm looking here, cost to install fin emergency shutoff valve system, includes properly adapting to epoxy system, includes rebuilding main manifold into fin product, includes all parts labor. Okay, and then there's some laundry valves in here. So, I mean, in the summary that's better, but when you're looking at when you do your proposal to your customer and your estimates and you're showing them their options, every option should start off, with a description of all the work you're going to do in that. And the next one's just going to be more. And you guys know you can duplicate an estimate. Have you guys seen that in the system? If you haven't, the training is really easy to go in there and you can go into the training for, what's it called, for the mobile training, Service Titan. And it'll walk you through how to duplicate. So what you do is you normally do your first estimate, that's going to be just a more basic repair, whatever it is. And then you can duplicate that, because now you're adding on to that for your second repair. And then you can duplicate that, and it keeps all of that stuff, and then you just add on a little bit more to the next one, if that's the case. So you can have as many estimates as you want, and keep duplicating whatever one you're on. So it makes it a lot easier, not having to rewrite the whole darn thing. Okay, so that way you're showing the value in every single one you do. We do not quote over the phone. We do not quote prices over the phone. And I'm telling you this because here's what happens on a basis in the office, a regular basis in the office, is we have people calling and asking, will you quote this on the phone? So what'll happen is they say, well, we don't have prices here, we can't do that. They try to get, hey, we need to get a tech out so they can basically evaluate what needs to be done and give you a proper price. Well, I'm just shopping right now, I just want a price over the phone. We don't do it. If they do send you a call, well, I can have Sarah call you for an example, right? On what she thinks it might cost. Still, Sarah should say to the client, hey, I really can't give you a good quote on the phone because I don't want to come out there and then have to say, hey, it's going to be more because of this, or give you too much of a price right now or a higher price right now when it actually could be less. Let me come out and take a look at it. I don't charge anything. I'll take a look at it for free. So that's just, I'm wanting you guys to know what we're telling them inside here. And if you do get a call that someone says they want something over the phone, don't give them a price over the phone. It's like going to my mechanic and saying, hey, I hear this click, click, clank noise every time I put my car in gear. How much is it going to cost to fix it? Well, maybe it's a click, click, clunk. I'm not really sure. But it's making a noise. Can you tell me how much it's going to cost? No, you can't. I can give you an estimate for free. Let me hear it. Let me kind of, look at it and I can evaluate from there. But your click, click, clunk or click, click, clank doesn't mean jack to me, right? I need to be able to see it. So we're willing to go out normally, and you can say, normally we charge $89 to go out for, as a trip charge. I'll waive that for you. Let me come out, no charge. Just take a look at it, no obligation, and we'll go from there. That's how we do it. Okay, so just keep that in mind. So now here comes the fun part. So with the boxing gloves, Sarah and I were boxing yesterday. You guys missed it. So remember,
Where were you, Cam?
do you guys remember? Do you guys recall? I want to make sure you recall this. I said to you guys, if you close out a call that has estimates on it, you close out the job, you had some estimates, and in 1 week, from that 1 week period on, Dennis is able to go in there, call up on estimates, and say, hey, Mrs. Jones, I saw that you had an estimate that Sarah left you on this date. Is that something you're still interested in? Is there anything that we need to do? Blah, 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 blah. He's going to say his little spiel and basically try to see if the customer's still interested. If the customer then says, yeah, you know what, let's schedule that, either that day or she calls back and says, okay, Dennis, yeah, I'll reschedule that. He gets paid 2.5%. So as a channel leader, which would be John and then Sarah going forward when she's going to be doing that soon, that's coming off their 10%. That's part of the sales process. He's getting his thing. He's going to call 100 calls, he may get one. I mean, he's not going to get a whole bunch of those because it just doesn't happen. But we don't want to lose any opportunities, so to me it's worth him making those calls and following up with customers, okay? However, the whole thing that I tried to explain to you before obviously didn't get out, and this is the last final time I'm going to tell you. The simple way of you following up on all of your calls, on your estimates, if you feel the estimate is just not going to happen, you've already given it and they just blew up and said, no, that's way too much, you can obviously close it out. Now he can try back in his 10 days, maybe he'll get lucky, maybe they've done some more shopping and our price isn't all that bad, right? So he may get lucky. They're probably not gonna just call you back necessarily, it depends. Maybe they're not sure if they still wanna do it. But the easy way to do this, if you think the estimate is still something that, oh, they're probably gonna buy this, but I'm gonna give them a little bit of time, I think they need a couple days or maybe even a week. Maybe it's gonna be a week for some clients, because there are some that'll take a little longer than others, especially on higher dollar items. All you simply do, guys, is you reschedule that call. And I saw one here on Sarah that she did this time, and this is since yesterday, I think, since this all happened.
Right.
But I want you guys to see, all you have to do, and I think it's this one. Well, there's one up there. I think Sarah had one too, so where is it? Okay, so this one says return Saturday for Sarah. It's just a follow-up to give estimate, all right? But I saw one up here as well that's that we're basically putting up here, and it says needs to write up an estimate. So if there's something that you for an example, you go out and you give your estimate, and you give 3 options. They're thinking about it, they're not sure which one they want to do or whatever, and you think, I'm probably going to get one of these, even if it's only the small one, I'm going to get something. You reschedule the call for 2 days, but you need to let the client know. So Mrs. Jones, I'll call you back, today's Friday, I'll call you back on Tuesday, is that okay? To check it, just to follow up on this to see what you've decided. Then you reschedule it for Tuesday, put a time window on your service time, or through, tell dispatch, reschedule this for 9 a.m. on Tuesday, I'll call you around 9 a.m. So now when Tuesday comes and you come into the office, the weekend's gone, you've had your fun, maybe you got drunk, whatever, you don't remember what's going on from the week before, I'm gonna let that go, I'm gonna let all that go, right? Now you're gonna come in and say, okay, so Tuesday morning comes up and you're going, oh yeah, I gotta call Mrs. Jones back.
Who am I?
Right? Well, sometimes we all like to forget about work when we go home, right? So we're not thinking about all those estimates, or maybe we didn't write it down, or whatever we wrote it down on is gone, or whatever the heck the case is. But the bottom line is now I can follow up on Mrs. Jones on Tuesday at 9 o'clock, like I told her. Now Tuesday I call her and she says, you know what, I still need to talk to my husband. I haven't made a decision yet. Well, that's still kind of a warm lead because it's still a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to say, well, you know what, let me call you on Friday. All right, now it's been a week. The clock doesn't start for Dennis until the job has been closed out. Once you complete that job, and it's no longer scheduled to follow up, guess what? Fair game. So I don't want to hear anybody coming to me and saying, no, I sold that job. He shouldn't get anything on that. Or whatever else in between that you might want to say. Because I'm not saying he sold the job. I know he didn't go out to them, but he followed up. You didn't. If you don't follow up on your calls, and a phone call from in this office causes us to get the job, he's going to get paid for it, and it's going to come off of that job. Okay? Because I'm not going to pay for him and for, pay double. But that's what's got to happen. So simply reschedule them. Put in your notes, follow up only. It's not a job. Make sure that we know in the summary that it's just basically a follow up for the estimate. And you can do that a couple of times, but again, that doesn't mean I want you to have your whole board filled with every call you've ever had because you don't want to lose a nickel on your things, but you're really not intending to follow up, and you're just leaving them open. We need to close out calls eventually. We still do need to close them out, but if you don't feel they're going to be anything necessarily at this point because you've already followed up or you've called them 3 times and then it's not responding to you, they're not even answering you, probably time to close it out because they maybe went with somebody else and they don't want to talk to you, right? So that's kind of the game. Does anybody understand, or not understand, I guess, how that works? Everyone does it. I'm assuming with silence. That's all I got to do is ask a question and it's quiet in here. All right, so we all understand that that's how that works now, right? Okay, so, and again in Service Titan, and I'm not picking on Ryan, but he's getting out in the field and he's doing his thing. Just make sure if you don't understand Service Titan about anything, guys, the training is so simple. When you're out there waiting on a call and you have nothing going on, go through Service Titan, go into your training mode and just refresh yourself on it because it will help. And make sure you're putting your purchase orders in. You can do it yourself, but I still need to see dollar amounts in there too. Okay? You click on invoice and it says add purchase order, boom, add purchase order, put the amount in. You can give the person at Ferguson or wherever the purchase order number because it shows up right there in your purchase orders, and it's simple. Okay. Let's see. I think that was the main stuff I wanted to go over. Anybody have anything, any questions or concerns about anything going on, or nothing? Okay, good. So the gas program is up and running. So for those of you who drive your vehicles home, this isn't going to help you because unless you have your vehicles here, the 2 nights that they're going to be filling gas is Thursday night, so they did it last night, and Thursday and Monday and Thursdays. So Monday nights, if you have your vehicle here and you put the green little flipper deal on there, they will fill your gas. Fill it all the way up, both days. If we start seeing we need it more often, especially when the summer comes, we may do it 3 days a week. We may do it Monday, Thursday, Saturday, or something. You know, so they're open to that. They basically work 6 days. So, but that's up and running, and the diesel vehicles are actually about 2 weeks out right now because of just their whole routing process that they're redoing, because they have different vehicles obviously that do the diesel. So that'll be coming up in a couple weeks, but at least we do have that going. So we can eliminate Bryce, you know, going and doing gas every morning for most of them. But the ones that, if you guys are driving your own vehicles and you don't have it here on Thursday night, because they fill up between 8 p.m. and 6 a.m. whatever time it's based on their schedule. So we don't have a specific time. So one of the things, if you live somewhat close and after you get off work, for an example, you want to drop your vehicle off, put the green flipper up, you know, have someone take you home or whatever, and then you can, you know, afterward, after 8 o'clock, they'll fill it up, and then, you know, you have your truck in the morning. So that's just another option. It'll save you from having to worry about Bryce getting you gas and all that junk. So, because that's kind of the goal, is trying to get him from doing it. It's really costing me less money to have this company do this, but it's not going to make sense if I have them doing it for 2 vehicles out of the 10, because, you know, no one wants to have their vehicles here and so on. But you have to flip the green little deal up there on your dash for them to fill you up. All right?
On the people taking their vehicles home, it worked for me in the past at other companies, was just doing the reimbursement. You take care of it yourself, you fill out the reimbursement, whatever, and
Yeah.
just staple the receipt to it.
As long as you have the receipt to it, and the issue that comes with, and I'm going to tell you guys, the other reason we're doing this is an electronic GPS type of system that they use. So it shows that they were in our lot. It shows how many gallons they pump into each vehicle, and then once it stops, they don't try to give you extra gas. They fill it up until it pops, because it's all electronic, and it says okay. So it's not like they can be in full stream and go to another vehicle. So it's basically made to kind of prevent stealing, right, from them, or having them have their buddy come over and fill their truck up too and put it on our bill. So they have reasons, they have their system for that purpose. The reasons that a lot of companies don't like to do the reimbursement is because then we have to also track the mileage, and we have to track, you know, for the jobs you're going, are you driving in GPS and see how many, you know, where are you going when you're not at work on your vehicle, and or are you giving me a receipt for some other vehicle's gas and I'm paying for it. So, you know, try to keep everybody honest that way. It's not that we can't do that occasionally. I'm okay with it occasionally, but it kind of gets to the point where, according to what Tina told me here, even before they were controlling Bryce with the gas bill was like over double. Same amount of vehicles, no more calls, no less calls. I mean, it's just, so that it obviously meant that there are people out there that steal, and they were taking advantage, so that kind of went away. So that's just kind of what we're trying to alleviate and not have those kind of even potential issues. Okay? So today's not an extremely busy day, but most of you guys have something to do. And so Sarah and Joeed, and I think Nick, you're going, who's with you today?
I don't know.
Okay, I think I saw it on the schedule.
I don't even know what I'm doing.
Well, yeah.
You're doing a hydronic system.
Look you.
All right, so here's a more, yeah, we're going to change you over to HVAC. All right, so Jesse's right here. Looks like Jesse's doing some
San Juan, right?
San Juan Capistrano, doing the faucets. So he knows about that. Ryan, okay, so Ryan looks like returning today between 8 to 11 to do the walkthrough, paperwork sign, you're gonna be, so it looks like Ryan and,
Myself and
yeah,
John
Mike are together.
for
Okay,
first two
For the
calls.
first two calls, anyway, yeah, first two calls, so,
And my last call isn't actually a call. I
Okay.
don't know why it keeps showing up on mine. Until we have the equipment, it's not an actual call.
He's just adding
It
it to
just-
mine.
we're waiting, so we're waiting to get the equipment, and once we do, then it'll be a call, so we'll probably just keep rescheduling until,
So it just means no one schedules me for an after 2 o'clock
No.
job.
no, right now you're with Mike, so if anything comes up, I'll keep that in mind as well, I'll let Omar know. So anytime you
He's
guys,
the one that did it.
yeah, but he's putting it on there because we don't wanna lose the
Right.
potential call.
Right.
So if the parts come in, we wanna have a spot for you, but we can always
But
adjust it.
until then, anytime someone looks at my schedule, I'm taken care of for after 2.
Well, that's why you go
So
top.
I just get
all-
screwed over
no,
on it, and I
all you
don't
gotta
have any
do,
work.
listen, Ryan, all you gotta do, you should look at your board every day.
I do,
So when you see that,
I
let
say
him know,
that every
hey,
day.
let Omar know, hey, that's not a call.
every day.
Okay, then that's fine.
For a
Because
few weeks now.
it's not like we have calls that we're throwing away.
I know,
You're not
I know.
missing anything.
Right, but it means it goes to somebody else, which happens.
I mean, you guys being together, it probably won't, but I get what you're
Yes.
saying,
Can
so.
you color
It's
code
happened
those
for
out?
about
Like,
2 weeks
make
now,
it
so
orange
it'd
if
be
it's,
nice if
that
I could
kind
get a
of
full day of work.
They color code themselves based on dispatch and based on
Oh, okay.
arrived and all of that. They have their own color system.
They don't
Okay,
have
so,
parts on one.
Renar's looks like, so Renar's on this one here, you haven't been out to this customer yet, right, David Utter?
No.
He has some loose wires, I mean, that's gonna be a little bit later this morning, between 11 and, around 11 o'clock. But basically, the guy has some loose wires on his AC unit or something, is what it sounds like. I don't know how he knows that, but.
Because he loosened him, he didn't.
Howard, the homeowner,
He took him
He pulled them
I don't know what happened, but these are loose after I looked at it.
Howard, the homeowner, got his fingers
When
in
you get
there.
a call where it's like leak under your living room.
Okay, so I see James on here, but not a scheduled call, so that's nothing, he's not even here. Nick, looks like you have two things, so the first thing is regarding price and parts, not a scheduled call.
Yeah.
A water heater flush, HPC, James Nick, Friday, regarding price and parts. Okay, so that's that, and then this one, still your Mary Lou thing, I'm not sure, some parts came in yesterday.
Okay.
I'm not sure if that's for yours, where'd they come from?
I'm not, well, it should be from Ferguson, but I don't know if Kevin ordered them or if,
Bryce?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Well,
I
Bryce
don't-
definitely didn't order them.
Okay, I don't know about the parts, and I knew that you were waiting on some parts, but I didn't know what.
So they're in? So I can go get
I don't
them.
know, I saw some parts come in yesterday,
Oh, they're here, not in Ferguson.
I saw some parts come in, but I don't know what they are, from whom or whatever,
Okay.
but I'll have to look at it in the box.
That fin, that's Kevin's.
Phil
Is that
has
Finn?
Yeah, I grabbed mine.
water heater flash.
Oh,
Well,
Okay,
then in
Sarah.
that case, I can take Christian.
Sarah, you've got, install system sold
He
yesterday.
expects his coffee.
One of Huntington Beach, bro.
I think this one's
I just put it in
a,
that fin.
We're gonna have a bomb.
yeah, you're putting in the fin, and this is, water heater flush, HPC. This is just a follow-up, so that's what we have so far, guys. Okay? Anybody have any questions? If not, drink up your coffee, get your caffeine, and let's get out there and make some money.
Get the
Okay?
hell out of here.
Today's signing contracts and estimates, and rubbing Albubion's back a little bit.
No, don't touch his back. He had surgery. He touched something else.
It did get warm in here eventually.